Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Where in the Park podcast. This is Amanda, and I'm joined by the entire Where in the Park team. We got my mom, Kim,
Hello.
and we have my husband, Kevin.
That's right. All of us are here. The
All of us
whole
are,
giant crew.
yes, and we are back together again because we are back from our Florida trip. Well, Kevin and I were on a Florida trip, and Kim was at home taking care of our buns, our rabbits, Clem and Nemo. So, this is our recap episode. So, we're going to be diving into what we did each day of our Florida trip. And yeah, we're going to be talking about all of the different things, maybe some of the highlights of the food that we ate, some travel tips, and all of the above. So, let's dive right in with our travel day, which was on Tuesday the 2nd. And as it being a travel day, didn't really get to do a whole lot, but we're staying at the Stella Nova Resort, which is part of the Universal Studios Florida Resort. Um, their newer hotel.
I believe it's called the Universal Orlando Resort, is the official name. Trademark.
Whatever. It's challenging. They made it too complicated with their Universal Studios Orlando, Universal Florida. It's hard. It's
I
hard.
mean, they had it where it's Universal The Escape at first when they opened up Islands of Adventure, so at least they went away from that because that's even more confusing. So
That is
it's all
confusing.
good.
That is confusing.
But anyway, so we're staying at the Stella Nova for a few days. And as this is our travel day, we went to Bar Helios at the Helios Hotel, the Helios Grand Hotel. And so it's the top floor of the Helios Grand, and it overlooks Epic Universe, which is awesome. They have some inside seating, but for the most part, you want to sit outside so you can overlook you have like a bird's eye view of the entire park. We got to see their nighttime spectacular, and that was really, really cool. We got like the best seat in the house because you can see all of the lights throughout all of Epic Universe. Whereas if you are on the ground, you might have an obstructed view and not see everything. So we have video of that. If you are listening to us on podcast land, by the way, you can head over to our YouTube page where we are sharing pictures and video of what we're talking about. Typically on our podcast, we have the blog accompanying the episode, but this time it is all on video because we have a lot of things to share, and that would be a lot for the website. So be sure you're following along on YouTube, Where in the Park, what you're going to search for. So, but yeah, so Kevin, how was that nighttime spectacular over at Epic
You
Universe?
know, it was beautiful. I do want to point out that we got lucky because our flight was delayed on the tarmac for like an hour. We fly out of LAX. We're over here on the West Coast. But that was good though because it made it where we actually got to Bar Helios later than we had planned to. So I called them, let them know the situation. They were very nice about it. They pushed our reservation forward an hour. So we got there around like 9:30ish, I think, PM. And the show that Amanda mentioned actually starts at 10 p.m. I don't know if it's going on for the rest of the year at that time, or it was just for the rest of I don't know because it's already post summer because we got there the day after Labor Day. So I'm not really sure when that show is going to stop or whatever. But if you do go there when it's happening, it's a 10 p.m. show and it is a beautiful view from up there. But I do want to point out though, if you are sitting at Bar Helios on the outside looking out the window there, it's kind of weird where they put a like kind of a visual barrier there where if you're sitting in the chair and look to your side toward the park, all you see is this wall piece, but above and below it is glass. So if you want to see the show, you have to either like look down below that little divider or look or stand up and look over it. So that's the only little caveats there. So if you see our videos, it's because I think it took one where I put like my hand down below the barrier. So I was actually watching the show from my phone, and then Amanda was up top recording it from above. So it's kind of a weird little setup they have there. But just for anyone who hasn't been there, that's the secret to it. That during the show you will have to stand. But it was beautiful though. I loved the music, the timing. Because they did pump the music into Bar Helios, so everything was happening for you all the way up there. You weren't just hearing the music from down below.
Okay, is it a water show? Is it just fireworks? Is it just lights?
I think it's just water and lights. Correct me if I'm wrong,
For
Amanda. Was there
yeah,
fire? Was
for
there fire?
no, there were no fireworks because we learned later that they are working on their contract to have fireworks. So
Okay.
they were able to
Okay.
have fireworks for opening ceremonies, but they're working on the rights and everything with the city to have it be part of the nighttime spectacular. So for now, as we are recording this in 2025, it was just the water show where it has the fountains, like a world of color, the Bellagio, that kind of thing, that is timed to music, and there's lighting within the fountains. And but with Epic Universe, there's water pools around Celestial Park. So all of those fountains are going off at the same time as well. And the lighting surrounding the pools are also changing. So the overhead lighting that you would walk under, that is all changing to the music. There's music from each of the lands that are played. And as that land's music is being played, the portal has a beacon spotlight that is shining up. So hey, this music is from Dark Universe. This one's from Super Nintendo World. And so it's a really cool performance. So I'm really excited to see it with fireworks once they.
I think there's also supposed to be drones as well. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a drone, firework, and water show when it's done. But right now, it's just the water and lights. But for anyone who doesn't know anything about Epic Universe, like we've been following it since it broke ground, essentially. It's a different kind of theme park because it's set up where you walk through the entrance and then you were in an area that's referred to, as Amanda said, Celestial Park. But it actually takes up from that end all the way to where the hotel is Celestial Park. That land is the entire center of the park. And the other lands, I don't know, I don't think they call them lands, but the other areas in the park are
Realms.
you have to go through a portal to get into them. They have like side entrances as well. You don't literally have to go through the portal, but that's the story is that you're going through a portal to get to that other area. It's very different for a theme park to be set up this way. It's definitely an experiment with this one. And so far, I mean, I had a great time there. I love the way it worked when we did finally get in there. Spoiler alert. Because again, day one, we did not go into the park. We just went to the bar and looked down at it. And we're like, whoa, it's everything that we have been following. And it just was beautiful. All the lights, though, on the buildings and everything, too, though, during the show changed colors with what was happening within the big body of water with the fountains near Constellation Carousel. So they have that building there as well, right next to the body of water, and everything lights up and is working together. And it's really amazing to look at. It's
Yeah.
definitely a
Did
step up from other shows.
did you see that same show from the ground or no?
We didn't see it from the ground within the park, but we did see it from the ground on the following day when we went back for Flora Taverna. We sat inside them
But
when the show started. We were out in the little
right.
like courtyard area near the big statue that has fire coming out of it.
Just outside of the lobby, there's a courtyard area that's just for hotel guests or those who walk through the lobby. So you're not technically in the park, but you are. Like you can go off a side pathway, and there's a way to get into the park if you're staying there. But
There's a
so
security
after,
checkpoint over there.
yes, thank you. But after dinner, we just walked to that little courtyard. So we saw it from the ground, but not within the park boundaries. So, because by the time we got to our epic day, that would have been the third time seeing it. So we're like, we need to experience the park because we're only here for this one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But up top is probably the better, so you
I
can
would,
get the whole scope
yeah.
of everything that's happening.
I mean, I help me to really appreciate all the work put into all of the lighting all around the entire Celestial Park area. That I don't know if I would have caught that if I was just seeing it the one time from ground level.
Right.
No.
It's one of
Yeah,
those
because
forest from the tree situations.
right. The lighting, it has a cascading look and feel through it that you definitely would not get. Also, the seating area for the show is interesting. There's seating that is kind of like the facade grass around the big pool of water where the main fountains are, but not the rest of the show. So seeing it from Bar Helios is the way to go to see the full experience.
Especially if you're only going to go for a day or so.
Yeah.
So make sure you get that booked.
Yeah, absolutely. And their food was amazing.
I mean, it's just like tacos or whatever. They have like appetizers and drinks. You don't expect to get a full meal of Bar Helios, but what we had as far as the appetizers, delicious.
All right. So on to our first full day, which, because we're crazy, was Universal Florida and Islands of Adventure on the same day. As you know, podcast listeners, we have been doing a series on Hollywood Boulevard at Universal Florida and going section by section and looking at the buildings. And it has been so much fun. So to go back with this knowledge in mind was truly special, I think, because we are discovering and learning new things and figuring out a new level of appreciation for the parks. And to go back through and be like, okay, I know these names. I know what this building is based off of now. And that is so cool. It just takes your fandom to the next level and you start to explore further into the details. So going back through and like, wait a minute, there's a plaque there that we missed. Or, hey, now that sign was there last year and now it's gone. What happened to it? So we will have an updates episode from our trip based off of what we had discussed in past episodes, because we have some corrections we need to make now or things that we have learned since then. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But yes, we walked around, took a bunch of new pictures, thousands and thousands of pictures, because that's what we do when we go to theme parks. We walked around the Lost Continent and saw Rip Ride Rocket being dismantled. It was a Wednesday, so active construction was happening. So that was sad. And now to know that Lost Continent is currently under construction, walls are going up, and just knowing that that's the last time that we're gonna see it the way that it is. So
Hey, if it turns into Hyrule, I'm all for it. So
yes,
fingers
we're
crossed.
we're hoping for Hyrule. There are quite a few Easter eggs in Epic Universe that allude to Hyrule, which is not anywhere in Epic yet. So either it's going to be an expansion or
Specifically in the shop outside of the land or
yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
the
They have a
realm.
stained glass window and like some stuff inside of that shop that's very Zelda.
Yeah,
Hyrule is the land from The Legend of Zelda by Nintendo. For anyone listening who doesn't follow as closely as I do, I just want to make sure that we're not alienating any of our
right.
listeners here.
Yeah.
All right.
But that shop, it has a stained glass window of Link. There's things around the room that are from Legends of Zelda, and they have a tile mural, a big mural of, I don't know if it's a rug or what it's supposed to look like, but it's very Zelda. They are definitely planning something for Hyrule. So Lost Continent makes a lot of sense. So we're hoping.
Yeah,
Nice.
we're not starting that rumor. Like that's the rumor
No.
that is out there that is the one that we are rooting for. So
Yes.
we'll have to
And
wait and see.
quick disclaimer, we do not work for Universal or any theme park, so
We have no insider
we
knowledge
have
here,
no
so
insider knowledge. So
yeah.
no
Don't
hate
place any
mail.
bets.
Yeah.
Don't place any bets based on what we're saying. So
Yes. All right. Kevin, tell us about Universal Florida and Islands of Adventure. What do we do?
they are wonderful parks. For anyone who hasn't been there, go. I know a lot of people in this world are just one coast or the other kind of people. Also, you have people who go to Florida and just do Disney. Universal's really stepped up their game. I love these parks over here. That said, there weren't a lot of changes between our last visit last year and this year. I'm trying to think of what even was changed between them other than rides like Rip Ride Rocket closing. Can you think of any, like, is there anything I'm missing? Or I know obviously they spent a lot of their last year working on Epic Universe. I respect that. I get it.
Well, as far as changes, not so much. Like I said, we did notice a lot more of the details that we hadn't noticed before. We were taking a closer look at shop windows and facades, like in their New York area, their San Francisco area, the Hollywood area, of course, where we didn't even know facade windows were happening. And
Yeah.
by taking a closer look, there was one window that there was a mannequin in there, and she startled me that she's like a palm reader, and I was just taking a picture of a detail in the palm reader other shop, and I look up and this mannequin is staring at me. So
Anyone who's like familiar with Knott's Berry Farm, they kind of
yes,
started that tradition as they called them peek-ins, I believe. So it
yes.
is that you'd see a window and you look in, and then you'd see a mannequin or whatever kind of living the life of who would be in that shop. And I don't think we've ever looked in the windows of the shops over there.
Not
Yeah.
not that one at least, because I know some other ones that they do not have someone sitting there. So that I think that's what caught me off guard too, because I know the other shops around that one on the corner do not have anybody there. So I was like, oh, somebody's staring at me. But yeah, so that was new for us. But also we tried some new food items that we hadn't had on our list prior. So over at Lisa's Tea House of Horror, which I personally did not even know existed.
I had no idea.
Over in Florida, you have the Simpsons land, and there's Moe's Tavern. It like splits off once you're inside into multiple eateries within one building. So from the outside, it looks like just one thing. But when you go inside, there's 4 or 5 different food options. And Lisa's Tea
like a
House,
food court,
kinda.
like what they.
It's a food court they call Fast Food Boulevard. It's
There
a
you
quick
go.
service little indoor
Okay.
area.
Okay.
Yeah. So Lisa's Tea House of Horror is one of those things, and it's all healthier food options. So there's a lot of salads and turkey wraps, and it's all quick grab and go. I think we had the turkey wrap then,
I think so, yeah.
and it was delightful. We shared it, and yeah, so I will definitely add that to my list because there were a few other items to try there, but I had no idea. I mean, we have been to Universal Studios Florida a number of times, and I had no idea that was there.
Yeah,
So
well, they don't have it at ours here in Hollywood, is the
right.
thing. It's like we have a very similar setup where I don't think they call it Fast Food Boulevard, but if you go into the food area of the Simpsons land, you're going to have Moe's Tavern, you're going to have Cletus's Chicken Shack, you're going to have the Krusty Burger, and all those are present over there at Fast Food Boulevard. But this is, again, it's really just a wall with refrigerators. So it's funny that they even themed it at all. But yeah, it does have healthier options, which is surprising because everything else there is very deep fried and yeah, burgers. So
Do they have a big donut like they do
they
on
do,
these
but not
trips?
in there. It's like on around the corner for
Okay.
both parks, actually, both Florida and Hollywood. You have the Lard Lad donuts.
Yeah.
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 In pink frosting and in chocolate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they definitely need a separate section for that because there's always a line. But yeah, and then the other menu item that surprised us was over at Circus McGurkus Cafe Stupendous over at Seuss Landing. We have been there just for the AC and maybe to refill our water bottles because there's Coke refill stations, the freestyle machines everywhere on property. And I don't think we actually looked at the menu until this trip. They have a tamed dragon salad that was delicious. It was a spinach salad. It had quinoa and mandarin oranges, and it like a bunch of other like fruits and veggies and stuff, and it was very very good. So I also recommend, again, not a spot that we would normally visit, the back of Seuss Landing, but there it is. So
Yeah, I had actually looked it up because I was trying to find some healthier options there. Because again, we were going into a long trip with a cruise, so it was like we need to start with stuff that isn't just deep fried food. And that restaurant, we'd been inside, like Amanda said, for the air conditioning in the past, but just walking in there for anyone else who has been to that park, to Seuss Landing, it just feels like this is very much for the kids. So you're gonna have chicken fingers, burgers, and pizza, and like I figured that was it. I didn't even have to look at a menu; you could just sense that's what it is. So when I finally looked at the menu before this trip, I'm like, "Hey, Amanda, you'll never believe what they have over at this restaurant," and that's where we found this really good salad. So surprised.
yeah, that was awesome. And again, we took a ton of pictures. It was a lot of walking as we were going to both parks all in one day, but we got a couple of rides in too. So it was a pretty successful day. And then, like Kevin alluded to before, we had dinner over at the Flora Taverna at Helios. So we went back to Helios and had dinner at their other restaurant on the ground floor. Kevin, I don't remember what you had, but I had the Wagyu beef burger and it was amazing. Delicious.
That's a good
So
question. I have no idea. It feels like a lifetime ago
it
since this was
does.
the beginning of the trip. I'm sure I have a photo of it. We have so many photos. I was actually going through them right now to try to figure out. So I know there was also the Mary Ann's, where if you listen to our episode,
Oh
like
yeah.
I think it was the first episode of Universal Studios Florida, Hollywood Boulevard there. On the Mary Ann's, we mentioned that there was a window with a name on it. We told you who she was, but there's another window that we hadn't taken a photo of on previous trips that also has a name on it. And I was trying to find that right now, but again,
Yeah.
I can't find food. I can't find that photo. There's just
There's just
like
too
we take
many.
thousands of photos over here and so many details.
That'll be the
Yeah.
update.
Yeah.
That'll be the update
Yes,
episode.
Yeah, so stay
definitely.
tuned for actual details here. But as far as the food over at the Taverna though, just even though I can't remember what it was off the top of my head right now, I do remember that it was delicious, but I can't remember what it is. If I find that photo, I'm sure I'll interrupt the entire podcast to tell you what it is.
When you were going down the Hollywood Boulevard, were you like having aha moments from the ones that you did go to actual Hollywood to see
Oh
and go, oh,
yes.
wait a minute, here's one that we saw that we hadn't seen before?
I was telling Amanda where it's like it's so surreal now after having walked the streets of Hollywood to see these buildings, to see them there like stacked up one after the other again. It's like this is not where they belong, but I love this. So especially when they have like Beverly Hills and Hollywood mashed together, where it's just like I know how it really is, but yeah, no, this is very special. So
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, not just for Universal, but also for Hollywood Studios at the Walt Disney World Resort. It was the exact same way where you were going building by building. And I know that. I've seen that in the real Hollywood. And like I said, it just, you have a deeper appreciation for the parks after learning about the history and why it was so important to bring that to Hollywood Boulevard for this backlot, or, in Universal's case, or for any Hollywood Boulevard at any theme park. So it was really, really cool. And to take those establishing shots to what like we put in our blog, because we focus a lot on the details, and so to take a step back and really see the full picture of, okay, these three are stacked one, right after the other. It just, like I said, you just have a deeper appreciation for the parks. And you think I'm a fan, I'm a super fan, and then you go again and you're like, but wait, there's something I don't know, and you just go down the rabbit hole. There is so many episodes that we have planned from this trip, and we told each other several times, like, we're in trouble. We have hours and hours of research to do because we found.
especially walking the New York street over there where they
Yes.
have that one building that's like it's not I don't know, is it the entrance to the Fallon ride or
Oh
the
yeah, that one. It's not the entrance, but it's like the one right next to it. It's the whole
yeah.
facade of that
Yeah.
building. Yeah.
There are names on every single window, some of them multiple, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every
So
window. Yeah, I was thinking of the one next to the mummy that had a bunch of names there, and it was just one of those, I don't know who these people are, and we got to do an episode on this window and who are these? And so yes, we have a long list of episodes that we want to do now. That again, last year this podcast didn't exist, and so we weren't seeing the parks in this way. We were focusing on the details and going from attraction to attraction and stuff. And so now we're looking at it from a different perspective.
a
And
closer lens of details than we were
exactly,
looking before.
exactly.
And aha, I found it. It was the crispy pita salad that I had at the
There.
Terra Luna. And we actually shared the burger and the salad together, which
Yes.
made it into like a full meal. So
There you go.
yeah, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what did I have there? That's why I couldn't remember. It's because we shared everything. So
Right.
this makes more sense.
There you go.
But yeah, so it was really great. Like I said, I love these parks and I love these details. I can't wait to learn more about. Hopefully, we can find more information about these people. I know Universal Studios is a little harder to Google people than Disney, where other people have already posted like some information about a lot of these, sometimes conflicting information, which is where we come in to try to whittle down what the actual story is. Um, but yeah, so then we want to go ahead and go forward to Epic Universe now.
The Epic Universe Day. It has arrived. So, with all of the parks that we visited on this trip, we were there rope drop to park close, or as close to it as we could get. This day for Epic, we were first in line. We got there like over an hour before that gate opened.
The gate before the gate. Yeah.
The gate before the gate, because we stayed at the Stella Nova, like I said, and that is literally across the street from Epic Universe and where the buses drop everybody off. If you're staying at the Terra Luna, that is not within walking distance. It
I
looks like it
mean,
should be, but it is a very long walk.
if you consider a 20-minute walk within walking distance, and
No.
sometimes that is, like we've walked from like the end of like the mini row over to the Mickey and Friends parking structure and done the walk through downtown Disney over to Disneyland. It's probably comparable to that walk, but without as much to see along the way. So
Yeah.
it is tedious, and it's a little weird.
And
So you
just
have to
keep
go
in mind
through.
you're walking all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to start it off that way, all right,
Right.
keep that in mind. You're going to tack on a few miles right there.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
staying at the Terra Luna and want to do the walk, you have to go through the back of the building. You have to like exit through the back of Terra Luna to like the left side to get to a light that's at the again like the complete rear of that hotel. To cross over to the back of the Stella Nova Hotel, they have to walk all the way to the front of that hotel and the front of that hotel's parking area because it's all fenced off to be
Yeah.
able to turn right toward Epic Universe.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it's a longer walk. It's a longer walk than it looks like if you just look at it from like Google. You think you'd be able to cross the street like from the front, but there's no crosswalk there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And there's no underground bridge or anything because when we were we were following along with construction, it would make sense for them to have built some sort of underground tunnel or something like that for pedestrians to walk from the Terra Luna to Epic. It's all
Or an above ground tunnel. I mean, I understand that it is Florida, and
yeah,
tunnels in Florida equal bodies of water
water.
pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I get it, but yeah, there should
something.
have been something to get you across the street a little easier,
Yeah. Because I
but they do
understand
have
like
buses.
there's a giant intersection right there that if they had to put a pedestrian crosswalk, it would take centuries. That light would be so long and traffic would back up. So I understand why they did not put a pedestrian crosswalk there. But putting one there would save like 10 minutes of walking. So a bridge would be great. So if we can make that happen.
So
When it
maybe in the
happens, you
future.
heard it
Yeah.
here first. So
Imagine
Right.
that.
imagine that.
Yeah.
But like I said, we stayed at the Stella Nova, which is across the street, direct shot to Epic. So we were there first in line. So once everybody was let in, obviously with any rope drop, you're only able to go to a certain part of the park before they have that other rope and then they make their morning announcements. The storyline for Epic and their opening ceremony, if you will, is that the Kronos, which is the tall tower that you walk into or underneath right at the front of the park, the thing at the top spins. And the storyline is that that is the gods getting everything in alignment for all the portals to align to be open to us. Right now they're closed, and then you do your opening ceremonies. The Chronos starts spinning, doing his thing, and then the portals are now open to you. So I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's the story in a nutshell of Epic Universe. So first up, right off the bat, we go to the right and we hit up Stardust Racers. Their dueling coaster. Kevin, talk to us about Stardust Racers.
Yeah, so it's two roller coasters. We went on one of them. I don't can't remember if it's named or not or whatever. Not that important, I guess. The cool thing about this roller coaster is actually happens in the line before the roller coaster, where if you've been on some of the more modern rides, whether it is the Tron roller coaster at Magic Kingdom or Hagrid's or Velocicoaster. Actually, not Hagrid's, sorry, Velocicoaster.
Hagrid's. Yeah.
Yeah, not Hagrid's. They have it where the middle of the line actually has a spot to put in like they have lockers to store your gear, so that way you don't have to take it onto the ride with you. With this one though, it's an improvement over the other ones because with this park, even to get into it, actually, they scan your face. Where if you already scanned into another park with your ticket, like we did the previous day, they don't even need your ticket. They don't need to scan anything other than you looking at the cameras. They're like, oh, you're in the system. Come on in. They wave you through. It's a very quick, very fast process. And it happens again at the lockers here because we had the day before been on Velocicoaster where you had to use your you had to request a ticket if your ticket's only on your phone like ours was. You have to request a locker ticket in order to use their lockers. So with the face instead, you don't have to deal with that anymore. You just look at it, the locker opens up, and what's even better is that the lockers there are bigger. It's like twice as big maybe than
At
the
least.
Velocicoaster is 3 times. So it
Yeah.
actually fits a full size backpack, like straight up. You don't have
Standing
to
up.
squeeze it down, and
We
yeah,
had
you don't have to
our,
worry about water bottles falling over. Yeah, it's
yeah,
great. Yeah. So
fantastic.
yeah, it's a big improvement. I love that. But as far as the ride itself, I mean, what a fast, fun rush of a coaster. A lot of ups and downs. I wish we could have gone back on it at night, but it just didn't work out with our scheduling of doing other stuff in the park that day. But when we go back in the future, I'm sure we'll try to get that going.
It was very fun. I think we were on the green side, if I
Oh, I
remember
don't
correctly.
remember.
'Cause there's like a green and an orange or
They
yellow.
look the same color to my eyes, so I don't know. But
Um,
like, I mean, I could tell like it was like a different shade, but it looked like it was like yellowish green and another type of yellowish green is how interpreted it when I was on it. But
so I think it's like
this
green and
with the
yellow.
Florida sun being so yellow, it's hard to tell what anything is anymore. So
Yes. But yeah, and we were in row number one, which is so fun to be on a new coaster and be in that first row. So it's like you're steering the train where it needs to go. So and our train won. So they won the duel, won the race. So
thanks to all of our hard work, I'm sure.
it was all our hard work. No, but it was also really great because we are, the park is relatively new. It just opened in May. And so a lot of the people on all of these attractions, it's their first time too. So to be able to experience that with so many people, it's not just, oh, I'm a tourist from some, a different country, different state. All of us are new in this experience. So that was really cool.
Especially considering that right now there are no pass holders for this park.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. But then after Stardust Racers, we went to the Battle at the Ministry over in the Harry Potter area. And man, we did not spend enough time in this land. We were there quite a few times throughout the day and we did not see, no, we didn't see anything. It was just a small fraction. We didn't get a chance to look in depth at the shop windows. We didn't go into any shops.
That's true.
We didn't do any eateries there. Like we did very, very little. We took over 1,000 photos, but we beelined it to Battle at the Ministry with everybody else. And thank goodness the majority of the line is indoors. I'm not giving anything away here. And Kevin, I think you're in agreement. The line is better than the attraction.
Oh yeah, hands down. They
Yeah.
actually have a spot like in the front of that attraction where you can go in just to see the ministry. That's not part of the line. So if you don't want to go on the ride at all, don't want to stand in a line, there at least when we were there, there was a separate sign saying like viewing area for the ministry. Go this way. So
Wow.
I mean, I still recommend going on the ride. Don't get me wrong. It's still a fun ride. It's not a bad ride. It's just that line is so good. On the flight in, I actually rewatched the fifth Harry Potter movie, the Order of the Phoenix, I believe. Is that the one? And that's kind of the time period that this is taking place. I think it's like that movie is right before where this ride picks up, if I'm understanding the timeline here correctly. And yeah, they have the ministry in that movie, and watching it there, like I had seen photos of the rides queue, so I knew that it was going to be very similar, but actually standing in there, it was just wild. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I was seeing like little snips of the movie while we were on the plane. And just from that alone, walking through the line queue, I was like, this is where the battle happened. This is where like Dumbledore and he who must not be named like duke it out. It happened right here. You feel that because the detail is on point. And I'm so glad they had that viewing area because you can be there for hours and just look around and just take it all in. It was incredible, room after room. And I think from what I had seen online, there was even a couple of rooms we didn't go into in this line. So I think that would have helped with the storytelling a little bit. We didn't get to see the house elf that I know she's an animatronic, and I think that would have been really cool to see her. But we didn't go into Umbridge's office at all in the line, so that was a little bit of a miss. I really wanted to go in there, but that's okay. The rest of the line was fantastic, and I would absolutely go and stand in that line again. But the ride itself was a lot better than I had anticipated. I thought it was going to be like a Tower of Terror feeling because I wasn't sure about the contraption itself, like how the ride vehicle moved. It was very different from that. The look of the chairs felt very Tower of Terror more so than the actual feeling of the ride. It is a motion simulator kind of a movement, I feel, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's like I've read it's kind of like a combination of the other wizarding ride, the one over in Hogsmeade. I'm losing the name off the top of my head right now.
The
The very
Forbidden
first
Journey.
ride, Forbidden Journey. It's a combination of that, but on top of it, the ride vehicle kind of moves like Star Tours, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Yes.
So it's moving on a track going through the scenes, but it has the motion of of a
Okay.
star speeder.
Yeah.
But you're
It,
going through actual sets for a lot of it. I mean, some of it, the line between what is a screen and what is real gets a little blurry, where I'm like,
Oh,
I'm actually not sure what parts of this is real, especially when you're face to face with another elevator, where it's like, I think the elevator part is real, but the people inside are obviously a video,
yeah.
but it's kind of looking like they put some 3D elements to it, even though you're not wearing glasses on this at all. So everything is really in front of you. And they do have animatronics in there, and yeah, they definitely balance the illusion pretty well.
Wow.
yeah. There were quite a few things that I was like, okay, that's a screen, that's a screen. And then it would move in a way that screens wouldn't. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's not a screen. Okay.
That's a
Okay.
screen on an animatronic, I think now. Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
had you really second guessing what you were looking at, which is, I guess, kind of what they're going for. And that's the sweet spot for a ride like that. So yeah, like I said, it's not a bad ride. It's a really good ride. It's just we've been arguing, like not arguing, but like discussing like which ride is the best ride at Epic Universe. And I'm leaning toward that still as being my personal favorite.
Oh.
But again, that's only because moving on, after we got off of Battle of the Ministry, we walked over to Dark Universe, which is the land at this Epic Universe park that's based on the Universal classic horror films. And as soon as I walked in there, I'm like, wow, they really went all in on this. And then when we got in line for the ride, I don't know how many times I muttered to poor Amanda. She had to hear me keep saying, like, I think they've lost their minds. Like they're
Yes.
out of their minds here. Like this is not a theme park friendly thing to put, but they put it there. Like there's so much like actual like horror movie elements to this land that, especially at night when we went back, spoiler, it just like was so creepy. Where I'm like, wow, they have like the smoke coming in and the sounds and screaming. I'm like, this is top level them losing their minds and being like, hey, we're gonna take Halloween Horror Nights and make it where it's creepier than that and put it in a park that's open year round for
Yeah.
families. So you see people walking around with their kids and the kids look like they're having a good time. So, but yeah, but as far as the ride goes, beautiful ride, amazing ride. It has the same technology as that Harry Potter ride that I just forgot the name of again.
The
Forbidden
Forbidden
something.
Journey.
And it has a weird spot at the beginning of this ride where you can really see the ride vehicles. Like you can
Yeah.
see the other people in front of you, where you don't see that when you're on the other versions of these rides, as far as Forbidden Journey and the Battle of the Ministry, where you're on like a Kuka robotic arm driven ride vehicle. Where this one has that same technology, but you can actually see them going with like the claw kind of like moving around. So it's kind of weird. I don't know why they chose that, but it was fun to see like the technology of it happening. But again, the only gripe I have on this one was that the animatronics when they were working were phenomenal. And the problem there again is when they were working, because there were
Oh,
several static animatronics during this ride where you could tell like that would have been really cool, but instead it's just like a statue with the sound was so good. The sound was so alive, where it kind of made you think maybe this is what it is. Because the first two animatronics, the first time we went on it, were just static animatronics, static statues essentially with the sound going. And then when the third one came to life, it's like, oh, that's what it was supposed to be, And then as the ride went on, it was just kind of hit or miss on whether or not they were really coming at you. And
Yeah.
yeah, but the characters were huge too. That was the real curveball that I didn't expect. Was that I was thinking like there would be like the size of, humans, but they were oversized and in your face. Like, it was amazing. But they had the Wolfman, Dracula, and Frankenstein's monster, and
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Creature from the Black Lagoon. That one was the good surprise one when he shows up there.
Yeah.
The Phantom of the Opera was like right in your
Yes.
face.
He's
Huge.
right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was, yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's creepy but amazing.
Yeah. So it's creepy, not gory. Like,
Which I like, yeah.
yeah. So just to clarify, because Kevin made it sound, for those who have not seen anything, like it's Halloween Horror Nights, but during the day. They can absolutely go to town on this land with a Halloween Horror Nights. But I think this would be a really good first step if you are not sure if you would like a Halloween Horror Night, or if your kiddos are on the fence. This would be a great first step. Exactly.
That'll be me.
if you can handle this, you can handle a Halloween Horror Night.
I would say the one part of this land where it really takes it up to that other notch, though, is the Daw Steakhouse.
Yes. Don't
That
go to
is
Daw
where
Steakhouse if you are squeamish.
that is where it goes from creepy and like, eerie to, oh wow, they've actually lost their minds.
Yes, that was like the seventh time he said that when we had lunch over at Daw Steakhouse. So we went to Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, really detailed, elaborate line that we raced through because it was only a 10-minute wait, which was literally just the walking through. We walked on this ride. So, but so much detail again in this line. It was gorgeous. And you went room to room to room to room, and seeing monster area after monster area. There was like a mummy sarcophagus. There, like all these different things that I really wish we were able to spend more time in each room. But again, they could just take that line, throw in some live actors, and there's a Halloween haunt. Like, done. But we went from that ride to Curse of the Werewolf next, which is their outdoor roller coaster that also has an animatronic werewolf. That one we waited a little bit longer for in line. Not as detailed of a line, and it was all under big tents. It was supposed to be kind of like a, what do they call it? Like a traveling
It's like a gypsy kind of thing going on.
Yeah, style. So by that point it was like midday, so it was like really muggy and warm. But Epic Universe does fans, people. We said multiple times we are a big fan of fans. They have the same type of fan throughout the park, and it is glorious. So luckily they had the fans going. The ride itself was it was fun. It's a spinning coaster. For those of you who have been to Knott's Berry Farm, their Sidewinder over at Camp Snoopy.
Sierra Sidewinder.
Thank you, Sierra Sidewinder. It's the same coaster where each there's like 4 vehicles on the train, and each one can rotate independently.
I couldn't tell how controlled it was. Like, I couldn't tell if it was controlled more like the Cosmic Rewind ride over at Epcot, or if it was loosey goosey, kind of like the old thing at Dinosaur Land at Animal Kingdom, or Sierra Sidewinder, like the one at Knott's Berry Farm.
Right. I'm not sure if it's weight driven, because I've seen some that like just spin it. So I don't know.
Or Crush's Coaster in Paris. Again, there's a lot of spinning rides that exist. They didn't invent this concept, but it does have a fun spot where it kind of like stops and like goes back and forth. And I feel like all their roller coasters like had fun elements that you didn't expect to have happen. Except for like Stardust Racers was just a straight like roller coaster, but it was such a fast, and I guess they had extra launches I didn't expect. So I guess that was the surprise for that one.
And a mist
But for
effect.
that one, yeah. But this one had a fun like back and forth. I guess I don't want to spoil all the rides for everyone going, but that's one I think it was kind of out there that everyone knew was going to be happening. But we had where there was another person who we were in line with for Battle of the Ministry that we saw later in the day, and we were talking about that. He actually missed that Wolfman up in the rafters completely.
Yeah.
So if you go on that ride, make sure to look up, because apparently he's easy to miss.
I want to say the first time, because that's on the part where you go back and forth, and the first time I barely saw him, and I knew he was there. And then when we go back through that building, I was like, there you are. So at night, it is very, very dark. So it is a completely different experience at night, because you don't see the track, you don't know where you're going. So definitely recommend doing both during the day and night. All right. So now we get to Das Steakhouse.
Oh, now we get there.
They've
I'm still having nightmares of it. I'm actually looking at the photos right now, and
It's
yeah, no, what a
terrifying.
weird. I guess it's just that one part that's really like they have
No.
vampires with stakes like hanging out of them. It's a little bloody,
Yeah. And they're
like and
big.
like yeah, they are
They're
big and they are in
they're
pain and anguish
full,
and
and there's portraits on the walls. Beautiful. Kudos to the art department. Can we just call that out? But you guys are twisted.
oh yeah.
And there's
We know a
several.
friend that might love that part.
Yeah, yeah. It is very gory in there. The lighting is very dim. It's incredibly cold. You are like, it's like going into a dark cellar. And there's skulls on the walls. There's, Kevin said, there's these huge figures with just a bunch of stakes driven everywhere. It just is, it's very gory, very graphic. And that's where you have lunch.
No.
So
No, I
uh
was hoping it was just what it was called and it
no.
wasn't a place to eat because ew.
It's a really good sized restaurant, eatery. Yep.
Okay.
But then
Yeah.
after that, we decided to go to Super Nintendo World, where things are
Okay.
bubbly and happy and
Okay.
bright and cheerful. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
Thank
we need to head there right now
yeah,
Right.
just decompress from this.
yes.
Wow. Wow.
So,
Okay. Make sure you don't go there very last thing so you don't have nightmares.
right. Yeah. We did
Wow.
go back as like the sun was setting, but
Not to the restaurant, but to the
no, no,
land.
no, no, no. But
Yeah.
to the land. But yeah, so Super Nintendo was awesome. So their portal immediately, as you walk through the portal, you go up an escalator. So when you get to the top, you still go through Peach's castle like you do at Universal Studios Hollywood, but you're on the second floor now. And there's
Oh.
so you oversee like the whole first half of that land, and you can walk down. They have a number of wristband elements with their power up bands. They have different mini games and stuff to do. The Mario Kart ride is on the second floor, but even
Yeah,
that goes
second
upstairs.
level.
It's a crazy floor plan of a land. And then but we went on Yoshi's Adventure first. Super cute, where you sit in a little Yoshi car and he just like goes around and you're finding these eggs, these different colors, and on your lap bar it has three different buttons to push. So as you go around this slow moving omnimover type ride system, you find the egg and you push the button and it like lights up and makes sounds and is super cute and cheerful. And we found the golden egg, so woo.
Just being in line for that ride was such a juxtaposition compared to Das Steakhouse. I was like, how
Right.
are we even in the same theme park right now? This is so cute and bubbly. And yeah, I don't know. It was kind of jarring but amazing at the same time. So
Yeah.
all for it.
Yeah, just you mentioning, Nintendo World, the music is playing in my ears. So it's like,
Yeah, for anyone who's been to Hollywood, like the bottom floor of the Bowser's Challenge music, where it's kind of more Yoshi sounding and like that looks kind of Yoshi-ish. Like they have a much bigger line of just that for the Yoshi ride. So it has like maybe even the same song playing, but it has like I feel like there's maybe a few more songs to play as well on top of that. But it's that vibe though, as far as you have the little sun like drawings and stuff from the Yoshi Island video game and stuff. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I definitely, even for just adults, I know there are a lot of people that work with kids like going on this ride because it's kind of like what it's for. Even as adults, it was still it was still a good time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It was really cute. And like we said, going from Darkmoor over to
Yeah.
Yoshi's, we're like, okay, we need some happiness, we need some bubbly cuteness. But
Talk about
then
night and day. Yeah.
yes, exactly. From Yoshi's Adventure, we went to the back of the land, which blink and you miss it. It's kind of around a corner and back a piece is the second half of the land, and that's Donkey Kong Country. And that's where Donkey Kong's Minecart Madness is. And we were in line for 2 hours.
ooh.
And it had broken down for just a brief moment. But yeah, I don't know if we would wait that long again.
Oh yeah, probably not.
That was a big chunk of our day in one room. The majority of the line is in one room, but it was still a lot of fun. It was cute. And it caught me off guard. That ride system is the track that you see is not the track that you're on. So it looks like you're jumping over broken track and there's extra track, maybe on your left, but you're gonna go to the right. And it threw me for a loop a number of times where I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna go, we're gonna flip around, and it's like, nope, the track does that. You're not gonna do that though.
It was full of surprises.
It was. So that was a lot of fun, but probably not a 2 hour wait.
Yeah, I want to point out that part of that 2 hour wait problem is that they had opened it up for all express pass people who, it's like for Universal, it's kind of like with lightning lanes for Disney over at Universal, they have the express pass. And when this park first opened, Donkey Kong wasn't included as one of the express pass rides because they knew that it would kind of slow down the line as bad as it would. But a week or two before we went is when they enabled it for express pass people to be able to go in that line. But what makes this line worse than the usual lightning lane or express pass, or whatever you want to call it for whatever park you go to, is that this line that they made for express pass goes all the way to the actual ride. Normally, there's a meeting point where if you're in a long line, you can see where the express pass or lightning lane meets up with your line if you're in the standby line. And once you get to the meeting point, you're going to be like what's the word I'm thinking of here? It's like you're going to be set to go at that point, essentially. Like that you're not going to be just standing there watching everyone go past you anymore. But for this ride, they go all the way to the actual roller coaster. There is no meeting point between the standby and the express lane. So yeah,
Wow.
even people standing in the single rider line that they had for that ride, where I felt like they were even going slower than we were, because the way that ride is set up, it's you have it just two people side by side, so you have less of a chance of having a group of three or five that are going to let you go in. So yeah, it was just kind of a weird setup there as far as
Hmm.
getting that line to really move. That I hope maybe they can solve someday, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You might just have to buy the express pass next time we go.
Yeah. Or just be a one and done.
Right. But it's a
Hmm.
cute ride though.
It is a
Yeah.
cute ride. But then after that, we went to How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and talk about detail. There's detail in every single one of these realms, but you walk into Isle of Berk, and I knew that this was going to be the realm. I think they call them realms, not lands, that it would just hit you, and be like, yes, I am in the Isle of Berk. And that's how that was for me. And we had watched the movie, I think also too because we just saw the live action one, so seeing it with my own eyes, it was so cool, really well done. The forced perspective of the mountain and the different buildings and stuff, where it looks like it's way high up and way in the distance, but it's just forced perspective at play. And it was just so cool. So we first ate, we walked around, of course, took a bunch of pictures. We ate at the Mead Hall for their Berserkers meatballs, which is the Swedish meatballs. We saw these on the menu with the lingonberry jam, and we're like, oh man, we need to do a side by side right now because we all know IKEA meatballs with the lingonberry jam. So we shared a plate of that, and it was delightful. You can't go wrong with meatballs and lingonberry jam.
It was one of those like while we were eating it, I was like, you know what? I think I like this even better than IKEA. So I mean, I guess we were talking about like if it had that same bite as an IKEA meatball, we would have been upset. But
Right.
this felt like it
Right.
was like a gourmet. It was like a gourmet Swedish meatball, and it was fantastic. I was
Yes.
actually pleasantly surprised, especially when people talk about theme park food in this world. This was definitely not that. So
Right.
yeah,
It had like some onion gravy and a smashed root vegetable. Like it looked like some yams or something, but on the menu it says smashed root vegetable. But it was very, very tasty and good portion too. For us to share, it was a good little snack. And yeah, so highly recommend. If you like IKEA meatballs, you'll definitely like this.
and the theming in that restaurant's beautiful too. They have
Is
like art on the walls that are just phenomenal.
at the very least, just walk it
Yeah.
and take a look. And then we went on Hiccup's Wing Gliders. They're a roller coaster for that land where your train is a makeshift dragon that Hiccup put together. It's super cute. So
No spoilers or anything, but it does have a surprise element and
it
go on
does.
this and have fun and yeah, I love it.
Yes.
I had heard it described as kind of like a junior version of Hagrid's motorbike adventure, which I wouldn't say it's that far as surprises. If you haven't been on that one, that's like surprise after surprise.
Yeah.
This one has a pretty good element in it that I didn't see coming. So
Yeah.
that's all I want to say about that one. Because again, I know a lot of people that haven't been to this park yet and they don't want to like be spoiled. I know I didn't. If I would have heard about this 100 times before I went, I would have been a little let down. So I don't want to have where I spoil it for you here. So
But yeah, so then after going back and forth around the parks and stuff, we went to see the Untrainable Dragon show. Oh, Kevin didn't talk to us about the show.
they had some weird music elements that I wasn't expecting, but as far as dragons go, they were amazing. Again, not to spoil the show for you, there were some surprises in this one as well that I didn't see coming. That it was just like, oh, they went for that and they actually did it correctly, and it looks real and looks good, and yeah, it was very surprising. I didn't expect for that like those elements to be as good as they were, especially for a theme park show. So yeah,
Yeah.
as a whole, like I mean, I felt a little bit like you can feel the really hard conversations they must have had in the boardrooms or whatever, where they balance between is this show for kids or is it for the adults? They're like, we're gonna have this element be for everyone, including the adults, but then we're gonna have a few things just for the kids here that are a little like, a little sillier, a little less I don't know how to like verbalize that without sounding like I'm insulting it. Because again, I'm not insulting it. I'm just saying like you could tell there were elements that were designed specifically for the kiddos in the audience. Whereas there were some elements of the show that just blew me away where I'm like, all right, I'm glad I sat through this show. So
Yeah.
how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it needed to be a musical.
I don't know if it was like a musical per se. Like I don't think Hiccup sang, did he?
I don't think so. Well, okay, so there's musicians on either side of the stage. They were great. They're beating the drums, really got into it, very energetic. But then there's singers, and I don't think that song that's repeated a couple of times is needed in the show. I understand why they did it, but I don't think it carried the storyline in a way that got everybody involved and on board. And then when they sang it again, I was like, nope, we've already done this. Nope. But other than that, I loved the story. I loved the things that Kevin is referring to that we won't spoil for everybody. That was very well done. And it was just amazing. So definitely go see it. Again, it is air conditioned. The seats had backs. And so that was great because not every show have, seats with backs on them. So that's a good respite for you. And yes, go see the show because it's really cute and a lot of fun. But speaking of shows, you know what other show we saw?
It's the only
We
other show they have in the park. So over at the Harry Potter land, the Ministry of Magic area, it's the Le Cirque Arcanus, Arcanus.
Arcanu.
Arcanu. I'm reading it as though it's written. You're right. The way they say it, Le Cirque Arcanu, because you're in France. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cirque
it
Arcanu.
was it was pretty. I again back to like several elements for the kiddos that made you think like, what are we doing here, guys? But then they throw in some magic that's like, okay, fine, I'm sold. Yeah, they definitely did some fun trickery there. But again, I don't want to spoil for anybody, but it's kind of amazing.
My
This one
tip,
blew my mind.
yes, my tip for that, get in line early
Uh,
because we were trying to go to La Cirque Arcanu first and they cut the line. They were already at capacity and we had to come back for the later time. So if you have a time slot in mind that you really want to get to, be sure to ask ambassador what is the earliest I can line up for that time, and they will tell you come back at 5:30 for the 6:30 show. That's when we open up the line or whatever. Going through the line itself again, awesome, phenomenal. It's a circus theme. There's a lot to see. You go room after room after room after room, and then the pre-show sets the stage. Like you do not want to miss the pre-show. There's a lot of magic that happens there. And really gets that storytelling element that I think if you came in the line late, you're gonna miss that and you're not going to really understand the show. The show stands alone, but there's a lot of elements that you get in the pre-show. So be sure that you are in line early enough to experience that. But yeah, there were quite a few things both in the pre-show and the actual performance that I was like, I have no idea how they did that. That's magic. It's straight up magic. So
Like that shouldn't be able to happen, but there it was. Yeah.
no, that box just flew across the room, and I don't know how that happened. But yes, we were pretty hungry by that point because we just had like some little appetizers and shared meals throughout the day. So we went to Pizza Moon, the pizza place that they have over in Celestial Park, and we got their ube pizza, their pizza lunaire that we had heard from several people, that have gone to Epic before, that this is the best pizza in theme park history. Like it is
Whoa.
phenomenal. So we're like, we must
Bring
try.
it.
And so we did. First off, it is massive. I'm so glad we shared. We saw several people who had their own pizza, and I was like, I don't know how you're gonna do that. But
It's bigger than the usual personal pan pizza or something, but
yeah,
it's not like a full family size pizza either. It's just it's like probably a Domino's medium pizza. It's kind of how I would describe it,
it's
where it's definitely good for two people to share. You shouldn't be eating
yes.
that by yourself.
It is 6 slices, but they're big slices. And it was so good. Like those 3 pieces, but I had 3 and Kevin had 3, because we shared the 6 slices. And by the second slice, I was like, I don't know if I could eat this third slice. It is it's very, very filling, very, very good. Um, I would highly recommend.
Yeah, it's really well balanced too. Because like when I read and heard ube crust, like I don't know if you guys know how ube tastes. There's a lot. It's kind of like having a moment right now where a lot of drinks have it, and sometimes it's served very sweet. And I'm like that. As much as I am an advocate for like pineapple on my pizza, so I'm okay with sweet on pizza. This one I was like, I don't. It's gonna be like a weird donut with like ricotta and garlic on top. I don't get how you're doing this, but it was just like the most perfectly balanced bite. I don't even know how they did
Hmm.
it. Where it's a very subtle ube to go with everything that was on top of it, and yeah, yeah. As much as I was trying to avoid pizza on this trip, especially like I'm saying, we're trying to like do salads to be healthier. I was like, everyone's talking about it though. I bet it's good. So
Yeah.
when did,
I
and it was really good. Yeah.
I think that you would actually like it. Like if we didn't tell
Yeah.
you it was ube, that you would just be like, "Oh my gosh, I love this pizza."
Just a weird purple crust on this delicious pizza. Yeah.
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 I don't mind ube, but it's just one of those things that's like, that just seems weird.
Yeah.
It did seem weird, but it was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we rounded out our evening at Epic. I know we're spending a lot of time on Epic, but that's because it was a brand new experience for us, and it's new for a lot of people. But we rounded out the evening by going to Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, and this was one that we were like, if we have time, we'll do it. If not, we have it at home at our home park at Universal Hollywood. But I'm so glad we went on this ride. Yes, the ride itself is the same.
Very similar.
Yeah, I if you could quiz me on what the differences were, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Did it
But the
work?
line, the line is crazy different.
Wow. Okay.
You walk through like Bowser's library, and there's all kinds of fun Easter eggs that on the books and stuff. There's a section of the Hollywood version that is part of the library, but you're actually walking past shelves
Okay.
and weaving in between the shelves. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's a much bigger queue, but it definitely yeah. I mean, I like the one over in Hollywood as well, but you could tell like they didn't have enough space to really go all in on all of the details that they added to this one. And yeah, we'll see if we do a whole episode breaking down all those books because there's so many. It's like, hey, you want to learn about the Easter eggs from Nintendo? Because I've been a lifelong Nintendo fan. For everyone here who doesn't know me, I was like in the line, poor Amanda. I'm like, that's actually from, being the tour guide through that line. So yeah, but it's a lot of fun. So definitely recommend standing in the line, even if you've been on the one over in Hollywood. But I swear there were a few elements that were different. There were a few different like and I don't know about animatronics, but show scenes that just felt a little different over there than they were here. But I'll watch the ride videos online. We don't take ride videos for anyone listening here, hoping that you can look at our YouTube video and see those. We'd have other people do better than we will, so we let them do it. Also, I guess theme parks don't love that you do it, so we try to be on their good side. That wraps up the Universal Studios part of our trip. And we'll just put a pin in it right there for now. Join us next time. We continue talking about our trip where we go over our first Disney cruise.
Until then, we'll see you somewhere in the park.